Springfield Electric, gas and water plants are closed.
Oh, now don't forget the nuclear power plant, Bill. That's closed, too.
Woohoo! All right!
Now, for all you youngsters, you toddlers, this is what you've been waiting for.
Springfield County Schools will be closed!
Oh, it's great to be indoors with my family.
So, Professor, would you say it's time for everyone to panic? Yes, I would, Kent.
Oh my God! We better pick up some supplies. Oh, there's so little left. Creamed eels? Corn dog? Wadded beef? Mom, let's just grab what we can and get out of here.
Humanity must endure.
General, it's worse than we thought. The virus is getting bigger.
We're home. We got beets. All clean, just the way I left it. I can't believe it. I've done all my housework and it's only 9:30. Well, better go upstairs and make sure the beds are still made. Mom, you've been cooking all night? Judge, jury, and executioner all rolled into one you are.
Ooh.
Boy, things are going really good. Good. Look at that freckle. I should dig that out. Good. That feels good.
Professor, without knowing precisely what the danger is, would you say it's time for our viewers to crack each other's heads open and feast on the goo inside? Yes, I would, Kent.
Dad, Mom's getting worse.
She's fine. Oh. Oh, Maggie. Time for your 9 a.m. feeding. Maggie! Honey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
And the NYPD is on high alert for anyone getting too close for comfort. Today, officers were out enforcing social distancing rules in city parks. Those officers are some of the 1,000 out patrolling the city this weekend. Mayor de Blasio says he wants people to enjoy the weather, but also wants everyone respecting others and staying safe.
While you're out there, keep that face covering on, keep that social distance. But anyone who tries to resist these basic rules and tries to create a public gathering, for example, or tries to put together, a sports event or anything like that, the NYPD is going to immediately give them a summons, and these are hefty summonses.
The city is also distributing 100,000 face masks this weekend at parks all across the 5 boroughs. The mayor says not enough people are wearing them.
The grocery stores we spoke with said they're not experiencing any meat shortages right now, that they're limiting meat purchases to get one step ahead of customers who might start hoarding. Lisa Shetler is shopping for groceries.
Terry, dear, you there?
For her dear friends. She's worried about them having enough food during the pandemic.
Oh, I'm telling all my friends, stock up on canned meat.
Her local Pavilions in South Pasadena has a fully stocked fresh meat aisle. But Wednesday, they started limiting beefsteaks and roasts to just 2 purchases per customer.
We have had some difficulty.
This just a day after President Trump signed an executive order to prevent meat shortages, keeping the country's meat processing plants open amid coronavirus outbreaks and protecting owners from lawsuits if their employees contract the virus.
I do think we're headed for some maybe mild shortages.
In response to their new limits on beef, Safeway, the company that owns Pavilions, Vons, and Albertsons, said we are not experiencing any shortages and do not anticipate any issues with supply or product availability. We did so to prevent the possibility of panic buying and help ensure more of our neighbors can find the products they need.
I'm very understanding.
But Tyson Foods has implemented new safety precautions after closing several of its facilities after employees there got sick. And board chairman John Tyson warned in a letter this week, millions of animals, chickens, pigs, and cattle will be depopulated because of the closure of our processing facilities. The food supply chain is breaking. Mike DeVore works for a grocery delivery company. He says lots of people are afraid of running out of food.
So they want to buy as much as possible.
And if we do see major meat shortages, he says his newly booming business will still be busy.
Just market not found and keep it moving.
And some experts say that meat shortages could be just weeks away. That's not because of a lack of product, but a lack of the product getting to the market. Reporting in South Pasadena, Nicole Comstock, KCAL 9 News.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to do this today. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bill Bryan, and I lead the Science and Technology Directorate at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Over the last several months, we've intensified the department's R&D efforts to identify and deliver information that informs our response to COVID-19. S&T is working to identify, develop, deploy the tools and information to support our response to this crisis. As part of our efforts, we're leveraging the unique capabilities of S&T's National Biodefense Analysis and Countermeasure Center to study the biology of the COVID-19 virus. This center is a high biocontainment laboratory located in Frederick, Maryland. It was established in the early 2000s in response to the Amerithrax attacks, and where we study, characterize, analyze, and develop countermeasures for biological threats to the homeland. We work closely with the CDC, FDA, HHS, and also our Department of Defense colleagues and many others. Yesterday, I shared the emerging results of our work that we're doing now with the Coronavirus Task Force. And today, I would like to share certain trends that we believe are important. If I may have the first slide, please. And while that's coming up, our most striking observation to date is the powerful effect that solar light appears to have on killing the virus, both surfaces and in the air. We've seen a similar effect with both temperature and humidity as well, where increasing the temperature and humidity, or both, is generally less favorable to the virus. So let me illustrate with this first slide. If you look to the right, you'll see that term half-life with a bunch of timestamps on there. First, let me tell you what a half-life is. We don't measure the virus as far as how long will it live on a surface. We have to measure the decay of the virus in terms of its half-life, because we don't know certain elements. We don't know how much a person expectorates when he spits, right? When he sneezes, whatever the case may be, we don't know how much virus is in there. So that has a bearing on how long the virus is going to be alive and active. So we measure it in half-life, because half-life doesn't change. So if you look at an 18-hour half-life, what you're basically saying is that every 18 hours, the life of the virus is cut in half. So if you start with 1,000 particles of the virus, in 18 hours you're down to 500. In 18 hours after that, you're down to 250, and so on and so forth. That's important as I explain the rest of the chart. If you look at the first three lines, when you see the word surface, we're talking about non-porous surfaces, door handles, stainless steel. And if you look at as the temperature increases and as the humidity increases with no sun involved, you can see how drastically the half-life goes down on that virus. So the virus is dying at a much more rapid pace just from exposure to higher temperatures and just from exposure to humidity. If you look at the fourth line, you inject the sunlight into that, you inject UV rays into that. The same effects on line 2 at 70 to 75 degrees with 80% humidity on the surface, and look at line 4, but now you inject the sun, the half-life goes from 6 hours to 2 minutes. That's how much of an impact a UV rays has on the virus. The last two lines are aerosols. What does it do in the air? We have a very unique capability. I was discussing this with the president prior to coming out. He wanted me to convey it to you on how we do this. I believe we're the only lab in the country that has this capability. But if you can imagine a Home Depot bucket, a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket, we're able to take a particle, and this was developed and designed by our folks at the NBAC. We're able to take a particle of the virus and suspend it in the air inside of this drum and hit it with various temperatures, various humidity levels. multiple different kinds of environmental conditions to include sunlight. And we're able to measure the decay of that virus while it's suspended in the air. This is how we do our aerosol testing. We worked with Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, and we actually developed a larger drum to do actually more testing, and it's 4 times the size of that. So this is the capability that we bring to this effort. So in summary, within the conditions we've tested to date, the virus in droplets of saliva survives best in indoors and dry conditions. The virus does not survive as well in droplets of saliva, and that's important because a lot of testing being done is not necessarily being done, number one, with the COVID-19 virus, and number two, in saliva or respiratory fluids. And thirdly, the virus dies the quickest in the presence of direct sunlight under these conditions. And when you look at that chart, look at the aerosol as you breathe it. You put it in a room, 70 to 75 degrees, 20% humidity, low humidity. It lasts, the half-life is about an hour. But you get outside and it cuts down to a minute and a half. Very significant difference when it gets hit with UV rays. Mr. President, while there are many unknown links in the COVID-19 transmission chain, we believe these trends can support practical decision-making to lower the risks associated with the virus. If I could have my next slide, and while that comes up, you'll see a number of some practical applications. For example, increasing the temperature and humidity of potentially contaminated indoor spaces appears to reduce the stability of the virus. And extra care may be warranted for dry environments that do not have exposure to solar light. We're also testing disinfectants readily available. We've tested bleach. We've tested isopropyl alcohol on the virus, specifically in saliva or in respiratory fluids. And I can tell you that bleach will kill the virus in 5 minutes. Isopropyl alcohol will kill the virus in 30 seconds, and that's with no manipulation, no rubbing, just spraying it on and leaving it go. You rub it and it goes away even faster. We're also looking at other disinfectants, specifically looking at the COVID-19 virus in saliva. This is not the end of our work as we continue to characterize this virus and integrate our findings into practical applications to mitigate exposure and transmission. I would like to thank the President, thank the Vice President for their ongoing support and leadership to the Department and for their work in addressing this pandemic. I would also like to thank the scientists, not only in S&T and the NBAC, but to the larger scientific and R&D community. Thank you very much.
In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, restrictions on church services and other gatherings have become a top religious freedom issue. This has led to lawsuits against a handful of states, questioning whether protecting public health overrules the constitutional rights of Americans.
If I don't exercise my right, I fear that I will lose my right. And my right to religion is one that's been fought for centuries.
I'm just trying to set rules that save people's lives.
Kentucky joins 7 other states slapped with lawsuits, accused of going too far in cracking down on religious liberty. Alliance Defending Freedom is representing Mississippi churchgoers, suing local government officials after being fined $500 each for attending a drive-in church service.
It's just funny how they pick and choose winners and losers, who can stay open. Walmart's always packed. The Home Depot, Lowe's is always packed. Grocery stores are always packed. But for some reason, suddenly it's dangerous if you go to church.
Tuesday in New York City, crowds packed public parks to watch a flyover tribute by the Thunderbirds and Blue Angels, the city doing nothing to call people out for violating social distancing orders. Later that night, however, the mayor issued a strong warning to Orthodox Jews gathered in Brooklyn for the funeral of a local rabbi. Mayor Bill de Blasio tweeting out, quote, "My message to the Jewish community and all communities is this simple. The time for warnings has passed. I've instructed the NYPD to proceed immediately to summons or even arrest those who gather in large groups." The Justice Department now stepping in an effort to hold state and local governments accountable. In a memo, Attorney General William Barr urged the nation's federal prosecutors to be on the lookout for state and local coronavirus-related restrictions that could be unconstitutional.
As many churches this weekend take part in what's being called Reopen Church Sunday, groups like the Family Research Council are urging people to fellowship safely, using appropriate sanitation practices and adhering to social distancing guidelines. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
No more Newsom! 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 No more
Our strand has been shut down, our beach has been shut down, and this is paradise, and we just want it back.
We just want to be able to go to our beaches. It's healthy to be outside. It's healthy to get sunshine, and we can't go to the gym. We're not working. Everybody's cooped up inside, and it's just time to give us our beaches back.
Open that beach! Open that beach! Open that beach!